It's time for the gentleman and I to get together again and have a conversation. You know what time it is. It's a time for When Black Men Talk. Here's yourself. And it comes out of Elliot's Loft. Myself, Mark Elliott, Mr. Charles, Mr. DeMaurice, we get together usually about once a week. And some could say we just find out what's up. We have different conversations on various topics and various things. Years ago, when we started this out, was based around love, life, and relationships. I'm not saying we don't cover that in our conversations, but a lot of time we go much more. We give much more. We go a lot deeper. I want to thank some folks. I want to thank Pod Up for sponsoring this podcast. They've been doing so for a while, and they're doing a heck of a job. Appreciate you, the folks over there. Also, want to thank the platforms that we're on, the various ones that want to give folks such as yourself a chance to hear us. We're in different countries, different cities, and we're growing. I appreciate anyone that take time out to decide to listen to us and give us an ear. I'm very thankful. With that being said, let me turn my attention towards the gentlemen that make this what it really does. Make it pop, make it pop, make it pop. Good morning, Mr. Charles. How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I feel like I'm in London, England right now. It's early as hell.
Yeah, it is kind of early. You know, it's early we get together. I know in the Northeast, we do this around about 10 a.m. So I know for you, Mr. DeMaurice, it's 9 a.m. So you probably, man, just probably just rolling over if I had to guess, man. Good morning, Mr. DeMaurice. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good. Yeah, it's early here, but yeah, I'm pretty sure all the Bear fans are up watching the game. So I'll hear yells and screams from my neighbors who are big Bear fans. So
Yeah,
oh,
man.
wouldn't be able
Damon.
to sleep anyway.
Here we go now. They're not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. Jim, I want to start this off. I had a thought the other day, and the thought was when you think you know, you don't know. I'll say that again. When you think you know, you don't know. And that comes to me in a sense where a lot of times in life we think we know what we want to do. We might chart our path. We sit down, pen and paper. We think about this, and we make some decisions. And as we move on in a life changing moment, things tend to change. In a sense, basically, whatever we have planned for ourselves, that's not what God had planned for us. So I wanted to kind of get you guys to opinion on it. But before I come to you, I kind of give an idea what I'm really speaking of when I say this. Years ago, man, when I was doing radio, that was my first love, is to be on radio. I was doing it and having a real good time. I was working in the Carolinas and successful. Everything was going well. And I said to myself, Mark, you know, you need to do something for your future. It's going to be more stable, more secure. Yeah, you know, this is fun now. It's enjoyable. You did it. You may want to start to turn your attention to something else. So that being said, I was planning on opening up my own limousine service, and I had did the business plan, had everything gone, and I was ready to move to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and that's where it was going to happen. That's where it's going to take place. And in a sense, when I had just about ready to basically make the movement, I found myself coming back to the Northeast, which is Connecticut, where I still am. And some things kind of happened. Find myself saying, you know, I'll hang here for a little while. So, in a sense, what I thought I knew, I didn't know at that time. My know was starting, I knew was starting to change a little bit. And then at that time, being here, I was given an opportunity to work a job that if you said to me, Mark, you want to work it, I probably would have said to you no. But when it came real easy, somewhat, you know what? Who am I to turn this down? So I stepped into it. And when I first stepped into it, it took me a while mentally to really adjust. And I said to God a few times, how am I here? Why do you have me here? And it seemed like he wouldn't answer. And if he did answer, it was like, just shut up and do what I put you into. And I'm here to tell you, 30 years later, man, I've been doing this job, ready to walk away from it. It allowed me to do a lot in life. It allowed me to basically raise my children. It's given me a financially sound life, among other things. And I did not know this was going to be the case. So I said, when you think you know, in reality, you don't know because he will come in, he will guide your path and he will put you where he wants you to be. So that being said, Mr. Charles, I'm gonna come to you. I'm gonna give DeMaurice a chance to kind of wake up a little bit more because I know he's probably still wiping the sleep out of his eyes and over there trying to get ready. So, but when you think you know, and then you realize I don't know, your response to it, Mr. Charles.
Yeah, that's kind of deep, man. You hit right at home on a few things. I feel you on a thing that something that you had. thought was going to happen in your life and you had it and you're going to go that way, and then things kind of altered and changed. I'll say real quick, for me, definitely experienced that. For the longest time, I think because I grew up playing sports and consider myself an athlete. I played everything, and even though I don't play on the highest level, I could do almost anything. So, with that being said, when I got introduced to sports writing and writing in general, I became a journalist, if you will. I had this idea that I was going to be one of the best sports reporters ever, and I did run. I was pretty good. I think I did that real well. I had this idea that I wanted to work on a national level, kind of do that ESPN thing, be part of a daily newspaper and just kind of cut my teeth and just go out and show the world who I was. So I kept doing it, kept grinding. And unfortunately, the opportunity at a daily newspaper never came. Now, mind you, I was working at a weekly, and I kept trying to make that step. Like, man, I'm good. I'm talking to all these people. I just need a chance, and I'm going to show everybody what I can do. But the opportunity never came. But what I didn't realize was what I was trying to grab, I already had in my hand, and I was an editor of a weekly newspaper. So I had to turn around that, and I think the Lord kind of showed me what you're trying to get the approval. You have opportunity to do the same thing at this weekly. It's already in your hand. What we're looking for from somewhere else was already in my hand. So I took that, I changed my attitude, changed my mindset. I was able to accomplish everything I wanted to do. Super Bowls, the whole nine. I mean, I did it, bro. I can't say right now. You asked me for something I want to do in sports, journalism that I want to do now. I haven't done. I wouldn't have an answer for you. So, long story short, brings around full circle. So I had thought about this. I'm like, okay, if I ever go to the Super Bowl, what else am I going to do? And one of my friends had told me a long time ago. We've been buddies since high school. Is he's like a consultant, started his own consulting firm and whatnot. And he always said we should work together. But if we do work together, I'm gonna do this real quick. He says I'm gonna come at you another year or so, but I don't need a sports writer. And I'm like, what the hell? That's all. That's what I do. And he says, yeah, I don't need a sports writer. I need a marketing guy. And I'm like, whatever. And then finally, that's what I went to graduate school for, right? For PR and marketing. And when he came to me, it pissed me off first because I'm like, man, you should just take me for who I am. That's my guy, right? He's like, well, I love you. We'll have get together on Christmas and all that other stuff, but we can't do business. So he was real. He came to me, and I changed my attitude. And before that, I had no idea about moving forward with marketing and PR, but I ended up becoming an entrepreneur, and it changed the way that I go about business and how I make money and how I live life now. Because now he was so right. But if you asked me a long time ago, I said, there's no way in here I wouldn't be anything else but a sports reporter.
It's beautiful, bro. Beautiful. Realistically, here it is, man. When you think you know, you don't know. When you think you're controlling, you really don't control. And that's the beautiful thing. When you think about it, when you can really kind of just relax back and think about it, how God works and basically take your no and go beyond anything you probably could consider. Mr. DeMaurice, there it is. When you think you know, you don't know. Your reaction to it.
Yeah, I might have mentioned this before. I was in Ohio working for the National Afro American Museum and Cultural Center. And I was also working in a radio station in Springfield, Ohio. It was a mom and pop radio station, top 40 radio station, and a jazz station and on the campus of Central State University. And my thing was I was going to be the next Tom Joyner, the fly jock. I was going to be, you know, dashing and going to different cities and doing radio shows and all that other stuff. And as I was working for the museum, I was a family development coordinator or something like that. And what I would do is I would go to the schools and teach them about Black history. And it was one particular Saturday, I had this assignment to work at this, I think it was a foster home placement center. And I was in a classroom with these kids who, some of them who had been foster kids and who haven't been dealt the greatest hand in life, and I brought some artifacts and things of that sort, and I had to be about 10, 12 kids in the room. And, we're talking and I'm teaching them things, I ask them questions, we're having a good conversation. And I kept seeing this man come by the door, and he's kind of looking in. And I'm like, who is this dude? And he did like 3 or 4 times. And then after I was finished or my time was up, he came in, and it happened to be the director. And he said, I apologize for, kept walking by. He said, but I never seen these kids this interested and and quiet before, and I thought something happened. So I just kept checking to see if everything was okay. You were okay, and everything was okay. He said, but he said I never seen them that interested, and we're looking for volunteers. I mean, because it's hard for people to reach these kids. And he said, I listened to some of the things you were saying and how you were dealing with these kids. He said, you got a gift. He said, not too many people, have a gift that they can just sit down and relate to kids. And these are some of the kids with, like mental disorders, things of that sort. He said, some of them have some real serious issues, and they were just engaged and, in the conversation. And I've never seen them like that before. So would you mind like volunteering every once in a while out here? It's in Dayton, Ohio. And I said, sure, if I have time. And at that time I was, really busy. And the more I kept volunteering and hanging with the kids and being a part of this organization as a volunteer, my interest in radio and television is still there, but I felt like I was doing something more important than being funny, giving time and temperature, announcing records, and giving little facts about artists and stuff. It was just more important than that. And so, fast forward, I come to Chicago, and I'm trying to land radio jobs, and Chicago is not what you know and what you've done is who you know here. And it was just hard to get in. It was hard to, get into those circles. They want to do the kiss butt and all that other stuff and do all kind of crazy stuff to, get your foot in the door. And I wasn't willing to do that. And I had to make money to survive. But I kept landing these jobs in social services and working with people and helping people. And eventually, I try to figure out, why I keep landing these jobs. Maybe they don't have anybody to do them. But years of different, working with different populations, working with the elderly, working with the youth, working with all these different populations in social services. Years later, I was approached at a training I was doing for the city of Chicago to teach. And I'm like, well, I never really taught before. It's like, well, the way you do this training, all you got to do is do something like this and you're good. So I went and talked to the chair at the time at the university here in Chicago. And after about an hour and a half, 2 hour conversation, she was like, when can you start? She said, you can start as an adjunct professor. And I'm like, okay, if that's what you want, that's fine. But I kept seeing this path kind of laid before me that I wasn't, really thinking that I was prepared for. But everything that I'd done prior with working with different populations had set me up to teach and give students an idea of what the field was about, what do you need to succeed, things of that sort. It was the same with grad school. I was actually um, lecturing classes in a graduate program at the University of Chicago before I even got my graduate level degree. And the professor, who was a board member of a place I worked, working with fathers, he was like, listen, you got to apply to school because you make me look bad because all these professors are sitting in here thinking that you're a PhD and you're lecturing these classes better than me. So you're embarrassing me. And so when I applied, I had to go see Miss Ball, Miss Professor Ball, Jay Ball, to get a recommendation. And so she wouldn't send me one. I had to go to Ohio to drive there and sit down and talk to her. And she handed me this book. This before I started teaching. She handed me this book. And she said, you're going to need this. And it was her book about teaching, the do's and do nots of teaching. And I'm like, okay, I just picked it. She autographed it for me. I'm like, okay, I'll just grab the book, just to patronize her or whatever. And man, she was right. She was right. So after 18 years, still teaching And then this new position I'd taken on, I was interviewing for the job, and I'm like, well, I probably won't get it, blah, 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 this at the other. And I told them at the last interview, I said, or the next to the last interview, it's like, hey, this is a great program. This is a great idea. I wish you the best of luck. If I'm not the candidate you're going to select, I wish you the best of luck. Lo and behold, I was the candidate. And, it's a new challenging position, but my bosses are like, you are the perfect person for this. I don't feel like I'm doing well. I met with the head boss over the week because I had to go to Champaign, Illinois. And she was like, this is my, one of the new hires in this program. He's doing a great job. And I feel like I'm just struggling. She's like, he's doing a great job. And other people looking at me or saying to me, hey, we need somebody like you. And she was like, oh, no, you can't have him. We got him. This is ours. So this was not my path in my head to be here helping people. But it was like, it was just laid out for me where I'm like, okay, you can't refuse this. You got to move. This is what you have to do. Because I remember saying a long time ago, I wanted to be used as a vessel to, bring you to light. See. I want people to see me, see you through me. But this is not what I asked for. This is the way the creator is like, okay, you asked for this, you got it. And so I always say, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. It may not be in the path that you think you should have gone. But yeah, that's why I still do the podcast and stuff, because I still have a love for it. But I saw myself in a whole new different, way of life and what I wanted to do. And it's like, no, I need you here. And so I don't know how long the assignment's going to be until I get to the next, the next level. But yeah, it's like that's been like my whole life. It's like I'm putting you in these positions because later on you're going to need them. And I remember teaching a class one day, and I'm telling all these stories about my experience and things, and I'm like, man, this stuff wasn't for me. It was for the folks that were in front of me to help them be better, to go out there and do the work that they've been called to do. And so it's just it's weird at times, but sometimes you got to sit back and think that some of the stuff that you are doing and in the places that you're sitting in, it's not for you, it's for someone else. It's you're being used to level up somebody else, and then one day you will be leveled up to a position where your heart has desired for all this time. You got to put your dues in. You got to make some sacrifices in order to get what you desire.
We're a vessel, basically. We are, man. We forget that. We turn selfish. We turn into, I want this, I want to get that. And we are a vessel. And everything we do really should be from that vessel to benefit someone else. It's interesting. I was watching this commercial not too long ago. I had the volume down on the TV. And it was this young kid getting ready to, I guess, kick a field goal for Adidas. And basically, they cut from him, pressure moment, end of the game, a second left. They cut from him to Patrick Mahomes sitting there. And Patrick Mahomes basically, I guess, is talking to him, trying to encourage him. He gives him, and who hasn't done this as a young male? Played football with paper, where you turn into a little paper football, like a triangle. He gives it to him, and he holds up his fingers to make like a goalpost and tell him, then the words come on, you got this. And I say that to say a lot of times in life, we retreat, we go back, we think, if we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. Sometimes we turn and we think ourselves as failures and don't realize, no, move forward, you got this. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're going to fall into, it's been pre-planned already. You just have to do. We may not know at the time, just do. And some of us just give up and choose not to do because we don't think we could do what we really want to do. And sometimes what you may really want to do is not what you end up doing, but you're doing something that may be even greater and better. And I'm happy that we can take time out and share our stories because we all have stories in life, man. Good or bad, we all have them. And from time to time, we need to basically share them. I look at it as a form of cleansing, man, really going back because we all travel a path in life. We were speaking candidly, us three, not on the podcast, about a month or 2 months ago, man. And Mr. Charles came up with this idea that we need to basically launch another episode, not an episode, a side of this show called Mark After Dark. Basically, from what I understood, well, I'll let Mr. Charles explain it. His idea, I'm not going to try to explain his idea. Mr. Charles, man, your idea of Mark After Dark, man, I want to hear what brought you to us and what it is. Let's find out what it is, what it's going to be.
See how you are? You would do. You gonna put it on me now? You know what I'm saying? My name is not Mark. First of all, now all of a sudden you want me to tell you what I thought about. No, I mean honestly, it's hilarious. See how it works? See how that works? Anyway, but no, the premise behind the thought was thinking that considering what we've done here on this show, that there was a different range or a different level we could take, a different way to go about the show. And Mark After Dark really kind of goes into some topics that are a little bit more maybe even risque or maybe even sensitive to the point of really bringing those out. Something we may not do on this particular show. So it's not about being raunchy or anything to like that, but just really saying, hey, there's some other things out there that may be a little bit more sensitive and maybe needed to be addressed in a different manner or on a different level. And that's why we mentioned Mark After Dark after the person that will be handling the hosting duties, not me. So that would be Mark.
Thank you, my brother, for setting the stage because that's all I needed. That's all I needed. And that's what we're going to kind of give a preview to here for the rest of this episode. And I'm not one when we come with, doing our episodes, look at what's going on currently and kind of use that as a foundation to talk about. But I'm going to do this now because there's two things that are really sticking in my craw that I really want to spend a little time talking about and get you guys' opinion on it. We can roll with it. And Mr. Demetrius, you just spoke eloquently about helping others. And I'm not even going to say his name, but when I'm finished talking about him, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Shaq's ex-wife married an absolute idiot. Idiot. He's a minister, if you want to call him such. This brother lost his church, I guess, in the hurricane, or it wasn't even a hurricane, I think it was a tropical storm in Houston a few months ago. He came out begging for money. He wanted everybody in his church to pay X amount of dollars to build the church back. Well, that didn't work. So he came out recently and said, giving money to the poor people is wrong. It does them no good. It does no one else any good. It doesn't multiply. Only way your money can multiply is if you give it in tithes. Then it multiplies. Now, think about that for a second. Think about what a church should really stand for, and then play his statement in your mind. What's going on, people? What's really going on? And I say that because it's time for black religious folks to wake up. You've been played on long enough. You've been played. Your emotions been played. All this been played for so long. And my thing is, no one, for the most part, there should be black ministers everywhere around the world calling this idiot out. No one's saying nothing. You know why? Because you all drinking from the same damn tea. Y'all all drinking from the damn tea. I don't care. You are. If you ain't man enough to stand up and say this guy doesn't speak for what should be spoken by our Heavenly Father, then you're a punk, you're a crook. I'm sorry. There's no way to talk about it. I'm going to throw that out there. Because this is after dark, after morning, whatever. You all tell me what you're feeling about it.
Well, I wrote a poem a long time ago called Pastor, Politician, or Pimp. And the reason why I wrote that is because I didn't see the difference between the three. And I think it's about time for us to stop looking at the middleman and go into the source. Because a lot of what I see with politicians, they want your money. The pastors, they want your money. And of course, a pimp wants your money, but they don't want to work for it. They're giving you this pie in the sky, and they're doing a lot of talking, but they don't want to work for it. They want to talk for it. And I started looking at that with religion, and I consider myself a spiritual person, not a religious person, because religion is used, and I think we talked about this last week, is used to me, manipulate people. to make people oppressive, to believe in things that you should not question. And I've always had questions, and the religion couldn't answer these questions. It was like, be quiet, shut up, and just follow the rules, and you'll be fine. And I saw that that wasn't working. So what I've done over the years is I cut out the middleman. Not to say that I don't listen to pastors or listen to messages in church and things of that sort, but I learned how to cut out the middleman, because if I am a vessel of the Creator, then I have a direct line to the Creator where I can pray, and I can and talk, and I can and articulate, and express myself in a way where I can build that connection, and fortify that connection to be the person I need to be, and get what I need from the Creator. George Carlin said it best in a stand up routine years ago. Religion is sometimes built on, that this is big guy in the sky, and he needs your money. and when he
Mm.
said that, I'm like, yeah, because when people question it, it's almost, oh, that's blasphemous. No, why does the Creator, who created everything, need my money? I think he needs my heart, and needs my vessel to do good things for people, but it doesn't necessarily have to come from my checking account. And I would rather give my money to somebody who is homeless, that needs it out that I know needs it out in the street. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not giving my money to somebody begging on the street. Why not? Because that may be, a grandma taught me this a long time ago. That may be an angel that God is testing you to see whether or not you have the compassion or empathy to help somebody in need. But I'm going to dress up, give money to somebody who's already driving a better car than I have, already living a better life than I have, and ignore the people that actually need the money. And over the years, I've been able to sit there, question, and watch people, and that's what inspired that poem. Because from those three, the pastor, the politician, and the pimp, it was no different. I started thinking about it, and concentrate on it. There was no difference between the three. They all talk a good game to get you out of your money and get in your pocket. And what are they doing collectively?
I watched these. I'm gonna say this real quick, Mr. Charles, if I interrupt before you got in. Before the show, then I was out and I was coming back, and I watched these older sisters walk in, and this kind of hit me. I always kind of felt this. They prey on those, or have preyed on those, that basically are suffering to a certain degree in life, hurt, vulnerable, and it's like, you do this, and don't you worry, God's going to take care of you in heaven. You can see it when you look at them. You give me this, you do this, guess what? God got you. God got you when you get to heaven. Don't worry about that. And the reality is, no, you should be giving them and taking care of them now. That's what you should be doing. When you can raise, I've been to churches and sat and got up and left. This is years ago. I'm going like 20, 30 years ago. Where they asking everybody to give $1,000. Because we got to get a bus. Bruh, if you can get people in your church to give you $1,000 on a Sunday, there should be no homeless people in the city of New Haven not eating. They should be clothed, eating well, have a place to lay their head. For you to get some fucking bus to put your church name on it, to go play bingo, to go to the casino, to go watch Tyler Perry run around dressed in a woman's clothing. I'm sorry. It's time for y'all to wake up, and you're not going to. I'm going to say it anyway. What's going on, Charles?
Daddy need a Cadillac.
Let's take it even further for some of these national pastors talking about they need a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious? You need a plane so you can spread God's the gospel of the Lord. So you need to go to Africa because you can't take a domestic flight. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's more or less like growing up as like you guys did in the church. I always thought about how if a man or a woman preaching the gospel and you're doing the right thing, you're doing the Lord's work, why you need money, bro? It's gonna come. He's gonna provide for you. I always thought about that. But now when what you said, Mark, is to the point where This gentleman says, give us the money, blah blah blah. It reminds me of COVID, man. Remember COVID when they could have weren't supposed to have any in-person service, and the pastors, and even locally, pastors here were calling out for people. Excuse me, pay your tithes. Got to pay your tithes so you can keep the church bills paid. I'm like, well, why aren't you more concerned about people's health
Mm-hmm.
Hello,
instead of coming to
hello,
church and so you can
hello.
get your money? People are dying, and the doctors didn't have no idea how the hell to deal with this situation, but yet you want them to come so you can get your money and keep your heated or furnace up, whatever you're doing, your oil heated furnace up. So my point of it is, instead of being concerned about the people's health, you want me to come to church so you can get all the money. But the thing of it is that what I understood about this too was because I watched a couple pastors nationally. If you are delivering the message and the people are at home watching you on television, online, whatever, if you're still providing the same message, they're going to give you the money. They're just going to do it in a different way. They're going to give it to you online through the bank account. They're still going to pay you. Still going to give you your money. But why would you insist that they come to church, risk their lives on a national epidemic at the time, so you can get your money? That's ass backwards to me. If you're doing the right thing, you keep doing. Some pastors didn't miss a beat because they were providing message, whatever. Okay, we're gonna work this out. But then there was some that were just so egotistical, and I'm like, man, this is messed up. So to hear a guy like this say, well, these poor people don't have money, or poor people, the only way they gonna get through is like you give me the money, and then I'm gonna be the middleman. Man, you get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here. And the question is, how do you come up? My problem, last but not least, how do you move forward with saying this is a person that you can look to lead you anywhere? Instead, why not get a connection with the Lord directly?
And that's what it is, Mr. Charles. Demas, knocked that out of the park when he said that. They're looking for the middleman. They look at the minister that he has an elevator. He has an escalator to go to God that they can't get on until they basically exalt this life here through all the trials and tribulation, cry and cry it out. Then God's going to bring you to heaven, and then life is going to be great. They done sold you that. They sold you that mythology. You bought a hook, line, and sinker. Your relationship should be with God, not with that con man, the con man that's standing up behind the pulpit. And I'm not saying that everyone is, but I'll be damned if the majority of them are not. We got churches here in New Haven that's been around for 40 years, and they still ain't paid for the church. Still ain't paid for it. Not to mention they got tax breaks, tax write-offs, everything else. The church ain't paid for. How is that happening? But yet you're dressed up every Sunday, going there carrying your Bible. You probably haven't even read in numerous times, or read it, don't even understand what's inside of it. I'm going to turn my attention, gentlemen. I'm going to turn this bus around because this right here, I've been disgusted, but lately my disgust has turned up on black man homosexuality. But we have gotten too motherfucking comfortable with it. For the straight black men, we have gotten too fucking comfortable, in my opinion. I'm sorry, man. They're just rolling around fucking each other, acting like it's normal, and it's not. And we looking the other way. That bullshit that's going on with PD and everything else, we talking and whisper. Fuck whispering about it. As black men, we're better than this. We're better than sticking our dicks in each other. We are. They did that to us when we came over in slave ships. We don't even realize that. Remember, they made us fuck each other on slave ships. And now we run around doing it happy to wear our pants half down our ass, getting fucked in the ass, and I'm fucking tired of it. You don't represent me as a black man. And you need to be called the fuck out. And I'm sure I got a platform to say this. I'll be damned if I'm not going to say it. It's a fucking disgrace to our ancestors who battled for us to walk on the face of this earth and be strong fucking black men. And you walk around sucking a dick. Fuck you. Somebody should say something, because I ain't the only one that feels this way.
I'll let you go
Maybe
first,
I
Charles.
am. Maybe I am. Maybe
I'll let
I
you go
am.
first,
I am.
Charles.
Maybe I'm not.
I
Because
said,
I ain't the only one to feel this way. Now, we talk about after dark. Fuck it, this is after dark, after afternoon, whatever it is.
yeah, I'll
That's
let you
what I'm
go first,
saying.
Charles, because I went first last time.
All right.
Ain't about going first. Just go.
Hey, hey,
Go.
hey,
Ain't about
hey,
going
hey, hey,
first. Go.
thanks, Don.
Mm.
This is damn sure after dark if it ain't nothing else. I knew I created a monster. I knew it, so it's gonna be my fault why this is happening. All good though. I got broad shoulders. Um, yeah, I'll say this, man. I mean, this whole thing about the like the Diddy stuff and all that about you mentioned about black men homosexuality. Um, does it bother me? And would I love to have our men stand up and be strong or whatever? Yeah, no doubt about it. But I think on the other hand, man, is I'm being honest and being real about this and what this is going. I don't. That's not who I am. That's not what I work rock with. You know, I love women, all that too. But I look at it now as much as it used to really piss me off a lot earlier in life. You can't save everybody, bruh. And if these motherfuckers is doing what they do, you know, I look at it like I'm blown away by it. This whole Diddy thing has blown me away. How this has happened and how this is going and being accepted in our community as such. But I've come to deal with this in a different way for me, from the standpoint of you keep that over there with you and don't bring it to me. The main thing that really bothers me, because people have choices. I'm not saying I agree with it, that that's your choice. The main thing I have, and I think the Diddy thing is showing me more than anything, is the factor that there are so many young victims, young people that would not even be involved with this, and they have been molested, taken advantage of, violated by predators, man. That's the thing that really bothers me. If you want to do what you want to do, I like I said, that's not me. I don't care. Do I want to see us as men being strong as black men? Yeah, but if that's how you rolling, and shit I can do. I can only do so much. But the thing that really bothers me is these predators that are taking on these young boys, a la allegedly Diddy and these other people. So you got to do what you need to do. Do we need to be stronger as men? Yeah, we do. But I still think, last point, that there are enough men, black men, that are doing their thing, that are straight, providing the example that we will cover whatever it needs if they fall off. And I'm not giving the a way out. You do what you do, but I'm just saying for myself, I think there's enough of us still that's going to still push through and guide the way because we've had people hiding for years prior to this, even famous people. Keep it 100. And you do what you do, but a lot of people hiding behind the curtain that were doing what they do like this. Now all of a sudden, because it's modern day, we see a lot more. We're seeing a lot more. Found out a lot more people that are no longer in the closet because they don't have to be. Like I said, everybody has their own opinion. That's just how I see it. You got to handle your own situation and own thing, your own house. I just believe the predator situation just bothers the hell out of me because you're forcing somebody that maybe would not have a certain lifestyle change the way that they really want to be because you violated them.
I'm glad y'all decided to come to the freaking party. What you got, David Reese, man? We just rolling, man. You ain't got to be who went first. Just call, man. Just
Yeah,
go. Go,
I
man.
basically, I like what D.L. Hughley said years ago because me and my father were having a conversation before I heard a quote. He said, I can respect you as a person, but I don't have to accept your lifestyle. And I've kind of taken that over the years because taken that approach over the years is because I don't like being forced to accept a lifestyle that I don't live. And it seems like that's the way society is right now. You know, these folks who look up to famous people, especially famous black people, and they're living that lifestyle, thinking, okay, well, if they're doing it or if they're wearing it, I should do that and I should wear that. And so my father always kind of preached, be a leader, not a follower. And so you got a lot of folks that are impressionable, or younger folks that are impressionable, that this is really affecting. And I do agree with what Charles said about the predator situation. So live your life. Do what you got to do. Find your people and live your life. But don't go trying to force people into living a lifestyle. And that's what we're seeing. What we're seeing in commercials, what we're seeing in, in movies and music videos and fashion. I stopped my subscription to GQ because it's like, what man wears this stuff? What man? I used to love GQ magazine because it was like Gentleman's Quarterly. I think the name of it, it was about gentlemen. It was about being manly. But when you start seeing these famous people who are being put in clothes that are more feminine and masculine, it's like, okay, let me cut my subscription because this is not who I am. This is not the lifestyle that I want to live. And you're trying to force feed it to me, and I can't accept it. So I'm going to be a man. I appreciate if you don't stand in the way of that or call it a masculine, I'm toxic masculinity and all that other stuff. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity because if there is, there has to be toxic femininity. Okay, so let me say that again. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity because if there is, you have to, all things equal, you have to be toxic femininity. It has to be. So I think what they do is the standard manly ways is now toxic to everybody, and folks have bought that hook, line, and sinker. And I don't subscribe to that. Matter of fact, I had to talk to a class about that and we debated it. And then after the class, there were a few people came up to me and was like, you're absolutely right. We've been sold a bill of goods. So I look at it as if you're trying to force people into your lifestyle or accepting your lifestyle, not going to work. It's never going to work. And some of us have been comfortable with it. I wouldn't say comfortable with it, but you see it so often. You go, you know what? If that's the way they want to live, if that's the way they want to carry out their life, fine. I don't have to participate in it. And I think a lot of people are falling back on it with masculinity is because when you try to assert your masculinity, you get this pushback. And I'm the one that, you try to push back on my masculinity, I'm pushing back on, whatever you're trying to sell me because I'm not going to change. You cannot change who I am. You cannot do that. And you're going to challenge me and you're going to get a big fight. And it's a fight you're not going to win. So, but I totally agree with Charles. It's like it got to a point where you're looking for younger and younger people to indoctrinate into a lifestyle that they don't know anything about. They're not designed to be that way, but you want them to be that way because of maybe your sexual desires. One of the things that I do have a pet peeve about is that we're equating it to racial issues. Like if your sexuality is racial issues. No, your sexuality is your sexuality. And I think David Chappelle said it best, where he said, "Hey, it's like when you got the transgender and the I call what Carlos calls it the comedian, the alphabet people. It's like you're getting more rights than folks that you know are black and cannot change their race, cannot say I identify as white now because of our skin." And you get more rights than folks that have been here fighting for them for years, and you're equating it, the sexuality in the bedroom, to just basic human rights. So it doesn't make any difference what you do in the bedroom. I don't care. I don't want people in my bedroom. But when you're trying to put it off on me like this is the way to go and we should be like this and it's okay to wear a dress or it's okay to wear fingernail polish or it's okay to do this as a man. No, it's not for me, not for me, and I'm not going to change that. I'm not wearing a skirt. I'm not doing any of that stuff that you feel that okay we could be gender fluid and we can do. I went to a bathroom the other day that you had the women's bathroom, but they did not have a sign for the men's bathroom. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I saw a flyer that said, it's a joke online that says, okay, there are like 18 different genders. And so here's this shirt you can buy with 18 different genders. And then they had when you're getting ready to order, are you a male or female? Wait a minute, I just thought you told me there were 18 different genders. Why you only have two genders you can select from? So to me, sometimes it's very confusing. Not sometimes it's very confusing. It's bordering on mental health issues. Because if you can identify as a cat or a dog or another race or another, sometimes I think we need to look at the mental health of the person instead of I have no doubt people are born the way they're born sometimes, but sometimes you got to look at the mental health, whether or not some folks have been abused or a perpetrator got to them that forced them into this lifestyle. We need to take a better look at that because I don't think it was in the greater scheme of things. I don't think I think we messed this up. I really think we messed this up, and it's due to man's greed, and it's due to men's sexual desire and women's sexual desire that has overridden, the normal order of things.
You gentlemen, I respect what you two said, and I hear you. I'm talking about black homosexuality. I'm not going far into all the other stuff, bro. I'm just talking about us. Because in reality, that's not who we were. And I hear about the predatory stuff, but let me be clear when I say this. Older men fucking little boys ain't nothing new. It's nothing new. It's just more exposed now. That's how a lot of our black males are gay because they got violated when they was little boys. There's nothing new, so it doesn't take what went on with P. Diddy to act like it brought it to the forefront. This is always going on. So I'm saying I'm gonna keep my concept and my talk about the black male because we should be better than this. We are better than this. And see, no one want to add this aspect to it either. We got a fucking gravy train always going to prison, constantly going to prison for bullshit stuff. And when you get in there, you're all fucking each other. Let's be honest. Then you're bringing that out, and no one talks about this aspect. You're having sex with black women, now you're giving them a disease. They don't know where they got it from. They're trying to find love to be with you. Now you're bringing that disease to them. Now you're bringing running around the city. So forget about the fucking bathroom. I'm sorry, fuck that. Forget about the t-shirt. I'm way past that. I'm more about my people. That's what I'm about. And I'm not trying to say people that don't look like me. I don't give a shit about that. Fuck all that to me. I'm talking about us because it's not that many of us. So we want to get rid of ourselves. We're doing a damn good job of it. We are. And that's a game that's being played on us that we don't even understand. When you got ministers out here doing this, stand at the pulpit, run around fucking little boys, fucking men. What are you doing, boss? You should be able to fight that better. You know how to pray and get yourself out of that bullshit. So that's what I'm talking about. No, I'm not trying to fight homosexuality on a big scale. I can never do that. But I'll be damned if I can keep my mouth shut and talk about the black homosexuality that I see on a daily basis, where I think is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Because our woman, our race deserve better than that, than what we're giving them when it comes to that bullshit. That's what I'm talking about. So to me, if you're going to talk about After Dark, I ain't coming out here with no motherfucking gloves on. My gloves are off. I have a right to speak as I want to say. And that's what I'm talking about. So I hear all that. It sounds great and it sounds protective to me. I ain't protecting nothing. I'm saying what the fuck it is. Exactly what it is. What other people are afraid to say, sometimes I might say it. Your own response to it. Ain't nobody's choice. Let's go.
We talking about black folks too, man.
No, man, I hear about the genders, the bathroom. Wait, I don't want to hear about that, bro. I want to hear about that.
Yeah, we talking about
No. That's to me. That's off the mile, my brother. I'm serious.
No, it's
That's
not.
off the mile because I look at it as
Because
being.
we're being indoctrinated. Indoctrinated. We are
No.
being
We are.
indoctrinated.
The black man hasn't done the indoctrination, cousin. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about we. No, we have been doing it, bro. We have been doing it for the longest time to ourselves. I'm tired of looking at somebody else. No, we've been doing it to ourselves. Like I said, it started a long time ago. We just been carrying the fucking torch. And I'm serious. When you go look around, just gonna say what it is. When you can make a man a millionaire for walking around with fake titties and fake ass putting the dress on, we've been doing it to ourselves. We should have turned that bullshit off instead of sitting around laughing at it. I'm serious. Think about it. We should have turned it off. You mean to tell me as a child, you sitting there watching that, you gonna sit there with your kid, and that's what we did. We sat there with our kid. That ain't a motherfucking cartoon. It's not a cartoon. So I don't want to hear about what they've been doing. Let's look at the fuck we're doing. That's what I'm saying. No, where did that come from? That was funny. That was hilarious. Realistically, who spoke out about that? Who
Well,
said anything?
but one of
No,
one,
we invite
but one of
we
the
invite
things
them to
you,
black churches.
but
I'm
one of
sorry.
the
Go
things
ahead.
you said, one of the things you said was about how in the churches, how they kind of accepted it, things of that sort. I agree with that. I agree with that, and that was, I think, a point where you have the Tyler Perrys, you have all these folks who were when the real men were going, hey, I don't subscribe to this religion thing. I think that, like I wrote in the poem, pimp, preacher, or a politician. Um, they were like, real men were kind of walking away, saying this is not happening, and that left the door open for others to kind of step in and normalize this with the plays and all this other stuff. But don't think that somebody sitting in there, and this reminds me of what grandma used to say all the time. She used to listen to a preacher and go, it ain't in him.
Yeah. Yes.
And a lot of us turned our back on that, where we like the show, but we're not looking for discernment to say it ain't in them. She used to listen to about 5 minutes of it and go, it ain't in them. I'm like, what do you mean, grandma? It ain't in them. God ain't in them. And we don't recognize that, or we refuse to see that when we're looking at people. We're listening to these so-called religious leaders, and they are grooming these kids in these churches. Because I've been to a few churches where pastors have come to me and like, listen, this is the problem here in the church. I need to learn how to deal with this particular problem because they're going after our children. I need some help with this. So I don't think people are using discernment in these issues because they're being entertained instead of taught.
Well, I say this about entertainment. I don't need to laugh all day. I don't. I entertain myself. I'm being honest, man. But we've been asleep at the steering wheel, boss. In so many ways when it comes to this, in my opinion. We've been asleep at the steering wheel. And I'm going to push this one on black woman. You knew when that motherfucker was gay, putting makeup on, you made him your girlfriend. You made him your girlfriend. Now when you ain't got nobody to date because he fucking Gerald or somebody over there, you wonder where the man at. That's him. That's what I'm saying. We don't turn our backs on nothing when it comes to us. When it comes to us, it's okay. We justify the bullshit. We justify drug dealing in our community. They got to make money to feed their family. No, they go get a job and feed their family. Now, all I'm saying, when we come to black homosexuality, we find a reason to justify it. No, we was always better than that. There are certain countries, they would kill you, literally kill you if they think that was part of you. So how they be able to come here and we open the doors with open arms? Come on in. You know that motherfucker singing the church song, he's gay? He's in the church. He's in the choir. I remember it was a minister years ago. He's passed. He wouldn't allow that in the church. They hated him. Hated him. There was a guy that put out a song, an album here in New Haven. Brother was gay. He had a record store. I'm not carrying your record. They got mad at him. I don't blame him. You can't be in there selling that record and you out there sucking dick later. I'm just gonna give you the truth. He took a stand. When are we ready to take stands? No, because if it entertains us, if we could look at a 30-minute video and see it, we laugh. 30 seconds, we laugh. And at the same time, our people, our race is being eroded. Guess what? They're laughing at us. I ain't laughing, but they're laughing at us because we're not producing. We're not. We're not producing. That's why these other countries want our melon. They see us dying off. They don't want their people to die off. We never look in. They see more value in us than we see in ourselves. So keep on fucking each other in the ass. Go on, fuck each other. Have a good time. Keep having the cookouts. Come out of jail, go to cookouts. Woo hoo 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 hoo. Have a good time. But where's your race going to be 30 years from now? Where's it going to be? Then you're going to sit around and blame this person, that person when you did it to yourself. There ain't no longevity in that bullshit. There is none. I'm sorry. You have for after dark. This is me waking up 6 a.m. in the morning. I don't have to wait till after dark. This is who I am. If you all want to change the concept, you guys ever talk about, I said enough. We could change. What you feeling, Mr. Charles?
No, it's not about the concept, but I mean, but like you said, how you view it is one way, but at the same time, I think I can say for myself, I agree with a lot of things you're saying on the perspective, but at the same time, while I want to be out there and think our folks should be better, hell yeah. But at the same time, a lot of people gonna do what they do. Is it right? I will scream with you all day long and make the announcement. But people had to take responsibility for whatever, and we are asleep at the wheel, as you mentioned about a lot of things. You got to understand it, like you mentioned about these pastors. You know what's going on. You see what's going on. You see how it is, but yet we will accept it because we are looking for the at the wrong people for leadership. Like you look at these pastors, and everybody putting all their trust in him. When that person turns shows you that they've been abusing little boys, or whatever, to the point, they're how can they be your leaders? Because you put all your trust and your faith in the wrong thing. You should be looking at the Lord. I think that's where it comes out first. You got to understand that. But we are, as you said, we have become more of a society, particularly with our community, where we're more accepting. We're more accepting. We're more. You know what it is, and as DeMarie said too, we're getting so soft where now they want to act as if being gay or whatever you how you want to roll with being gay, being homosexual is like being black. No, the hell it's not. Because you know what you can do? You can go to a job for 20 years and you can put your suit and tie on as a man and you can be the supervisor and everybody knows you as Larry. Larry can rock the walk, talk the talk, and everybody see you as that. And only will they know 20 years later when you start cross dressing or whatever you doing that you were gay, right? But when we go to the office with this melanin, you can't turn that shit off. You can't hide it. That is what it is. And when you say stuff like that and get uncomfortable, when we say you don't know what that's like, so if you want to talk about LMNOP, I ain't mad at you, whatever that is, as far as the alphabet is concerned. We don't get that choice, man. We don't get that choice, but it still comes down to it. Like I said, I would scream with you. Do I agree with a lot of stuff? Is that don't bring that to me? It's not who I am. It's not what I rock with. But then after a while, I'm sitting there going like, yeah, I want us to be stronger. I want my community to be better. We should be better because of the answers and whatnot. But after a while, I ask myself, what can I do? I would announce it. I tell you how I feel. Go from there. But at the end of the day, it is about self-preservation, bruh. Is that fair? You may not like that how I said it, but after a while, if I try and I keep trying to work with it around like-minded people to try to make a difference, I'll do that. But after a while comes self-preservation, man. And if you're gonna go down that rabbit hole and not exist anymore, I'm not that dude. I gotta take care of me. And that's what starts first. Call that selfish whatever you want to. Maybe my experience or how I grew up or how I lived my life. That's what it was. I'm gonna try, but after a while, if I can't do much about it, I'm still go after it and talk about it and shoot what I need to say about it. But at the end, it's about self-preservation. And good luck with that shit, cause I'm gonna be here, bro.
It's
It's like
it's
people, I'm gonna be here.
it's something that helped me get my blood pressure down. That I posted up months ago, and realizing, and this has been years in the making too, is that um, I'm no longer going to argue with people who Harriet would have left behind. I can't do it. I can't do it. I ain't going to get excited about it. I ain't going to be mad about it. I'm going to do what I do and do what I can to like self-preservation. But there are going to be people who are going to be left behind. And I can't kind of convince them and pull them with me. They're too heavy. We got to go. We gotta go. And I don't need no damn way. So if that's the way you want to live, that's the way you want to operate, that's the way you want to, conduct your life, go right ahead. But the train keeps moving forward. And, and that's a lesser load that I got to carry. But I got to get with like-minded folks that say, you know what, hey, this is the way how we're going to preserve the race, and we got to keep stepping. We got to keep going. Now maybe they'll see it, and maybe they won't. I don't know. They ain't up to me. But to get my pressure up about folks who decide, hey, I want to live this particular lifestyle, and other folks who want to accept it, have at it. I ain't got time, nor patience, nor the crayons to explain it to you, and how we need to move forward. But I'm moving forward, and like I said, I'm no longer arguing with folks who Harriet would have left behind. and there are going to be a lot of people left behind because they've adopted ways that aren't the normal course of things, and then they wonder why they can't get ahead or why this is happening or why I can't deal with it anymore. I'm in my I'm going to my late 50s. I can't be worried about folks who want to live a certain lifestyle. I gotta take care of me.
I'm sitting there checking my blood pressure, man. It ain't up, boss. It ain't up.
Okay, yeah, all right, all right.
My blood
Let
pressure
me
ain't up.
check it. Let me check
It
it.
ain't up.
Let
My
me check it.
pressure, it ain't up, man. Actually, it's good for my blood pressure. I get it out. My pressure, the needle ain't moved. But my question to you, gentlemen, what's the feeling about After Dark? Are we in? We out? What's the thought, Mr. Charles? What you thinking, man?
First of all, I came up with the concept. Remember that, right? So look, so
Yeah.
let me just say this to you. Let me just say this for those that don't know. We have a lovely, strong history between the two of us, right? So I
Hmm.
ain't scared of none of this, bro. I wouldn't have said it like I told somebody. I'm not gonna say what I said the message to him. I said somebody been wanting to be unleashed. I just gave him a gun. That's all I'm gonna say. You know how we do it over here. If it's meant to be said, and you want to walk that
Oh,
walk, look. Hey, I may not always broadcast it all the time, but I ain't scared.
Mr. D. Maurice, the professor. Your thoughts, my brother?
Man, we've been fighting ever since we can remember, so this ain't nothing new. I love a good fight. Ain't nothing changed. We'll be right if we weren't fighting.
Gotta be wrestling. Gotta be wrestling. I'm gonna put on this one now, gentlemen, because hey man, if anything, it gave me a chance to basically say some things I felt like I needed to say. And After Dark would be different from time to time, but I like the idea. I do like the idea. I think it would be a great concept. So look forward to coming at you soon. It's Mr. DeMaurice, Mr. Charles Mark Elliott. We're gonna put the wraps on this edition of When Black Men Talk. Look forward to having you join us on the next one. God love you. We love you too. Take care of yourself.